Hey guys, how the hell are you? Time for an all-new unbiased gear review on this, the new Conor McCray Phoenix model from Siggi Braun. But first, some specs on this instrument. We have a red alder body. We have a bolted-on maple neck with African ebony fingerboard, 24 frets. Spertzel trim lock locking tuners. We have a hip shot bridge, master volume, three-way toggle switch, and we have a pair of Seymour Duncan humbuckers, a Nazgul in the bridge and a Sentient in the neck. So welcome back to the channel, Siggi Braun. I've reviewed a couple instruments from this custom shop, Luthier, out of Germany before, a few years back, and I was incredibly impressed by what I found at that point. It's a company that I've been meaning to check out for a long time. I've been a big fan ever since I've seen Victor Smolsky play a few in a Rage DVD way back in the day, and I was like, oh my god, those things look absolutely sick. I've got to check out this brand. But fast forward to now and getting to check out one brand new model that they've got coming out. This is a signature model for the artist Conor McCray. Now, from what I can tell just from looking at this thing aesthetically, it is kind of a take on the company's Icarus model. Very, very similar lines, but with some differences in terms of specs here. One of the first things that you'll notice is there is some beveling along the edges, making things a little bit easier for reaching the higher frets up here as well. The headstock design, pretty similar there. As far as the finish itself, I've been told that this finish is being referred to as slushy crackle, which makes sense. I'm a huge fan of crackle finishes, so already you got me there. But the red on the outside and as a kind of a burst with the blue on the inside. Yeah, it does look like a slushy. It's kind of an interesting take on the design. I think it looks cool. I think it looks really, really metal, but at the same time with a flair of whimsy about it. So yeah, I'm already a fan. Taking a look at the finer appointments on here, first of all, the finish work on the body itself is a very, very nice, really smoothed down satin finish. It's very, very comfortable. The neck itself also has a really, really excellent finish on the back of the neck. Definitely feels like a poly satin on the back of this, but at the same time, it's kind of got that raw wood feel to it, almost a little bit on the headstock. If you've ever picked up an American series Fender Strat, you know what I'm talking about. You know the kind of feel that I'm referring to. Same feel with that. As far as the actual contour of the neck is a nice, extremely familiar C shape. So those of us that have grown up playing Jacksons or other shred sticks of the heyday will be very, very familiar with what this feels like. It's a nice thin C shape too, so those of us that like Ibanez models will also find a lot to love with that in terms of how thin the neck is. The fretwork is really, really nice. No dead spots anywhere to be found up and down the fretboard. Very, very even playing. Something else of note that is kind of a nice little playability thing. I don't know if this is Connor's suggestion and just Siggi implemented it, or Siggi suggested it, but either way, I love the recessing of so much stuff on this guitar. The volume knob is recessed in. The toggle switch is a little bit of a shorter toggle switch than I'm used to, which is interesting. But even that is still recessed in, presumably to just keep it out of the way a little bit more. Taking a look at the back, hey, the bolts, nice and recessed. Hey, the string ferrules, nice and recessed. Hey, the cavity cover, nice and recessed. It's almost like they are doing whatever they can to keep this relatively out of the way. Everything is set up perfectly on this instrument, kind of right from the moment it arrived. It arrived in tune, which shows you how stable this is even being shipped across the country. Another little quality control aspect of this, taking a look at the installation of all the hardware, the tuning machines, the bridge, even the strap locks. Everything is battened down nice and tight, but at the same time, like not brittle tight, not like tight, like, oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna break this. More like it's really nice and stable. There's no movement, there's no play or give whatsoever. Intonation, there again, right out of the case was just perfect. So nothing needed to be set up whatsoever when it arrived here. This is just a fantastic, fantastic instrument. There's nothing really I can say quality control wise that's of any detriment. So how does this thing sound? Like a molten metal machine. That's how it sounds. God damn, I love that note clarity. On those like tremolo picked runs, something about a Seymour Duncan Nazgul just sounds so gnarly. But also it's got plenty of everything in there, so you get the big chunks, you get the big beefy rock chords. It just sounds so damn good. Yeah, the Nazgul, I can wax eloquent about it. The Sentient is also just such a good neck pickup too. So overall, my final thought, this is one of those instruments that you're going to pick up and it's going to feel instantly familiar. Everything about this, from the neck profile to the way the finish feels, even to how it sounds with those Nazgul and Sentient humbuckers in there, is something that a lot of us are extremely familiar with these days. So this thing is honestly just kind of meant to be picked up and immediately just put through its paces. It's commendable that someone decided, you know what, I don't need to be making the most ridiculous original shape out there, which, by the way, if you've ever taken a look at Siggi's custom works that he's done in the past, you know that's something that he's kind of known for. He does a lot of very, very unique shapes that are kind of unique to what he does. It's really, really rad. It's really, really awesome. But at the same time, this just shows that, hey, I can take a stab at something that is a little bit more familiar, something that players are going to identify with a little bit easier, and it's a goddamn winner. There's nothing that I can find at fault about this instrument. It's one of those things where you pick it up, you just want to keep playing it and keep playing it and keep playing it until your hands hurt. Wow, that is exactly what we want out of a badass instrument. But also, going along with the price point that these things go for, which is not inexpensive, but comes out absolutely perfect in every aspect. Pour over this thing with a fine-tooth comb, you will not find a finish defect, you will not find any burred edges, you will not find any defects with the fretwork, or really anything about this. It sounds incredible. There is nothing to find at fault with this instrument. So in that regard, I would say if you get a chance to seek out an instrument from Siggi Braun, you know, including this new Conor McCray signature model, do yourselves a favor, pick one up, jam on it, see how you dig it as well. But Arnold, what are you drinking today? I am so glad that you asked, because today I'm deviating a little bit from the norm with this segment because, well, I've put back on a lot of the weight that I previously lost, so it's back on keto I go. I've got to try to get back to a manageable weight. I'm tired of being a bit pudgy. And it's about time I got to a manageable weight that I can maintain and that I can honestly feel healthy. So for at least a little while, beer is kind of off the table a bit. So that being said, for those of you guys that watch my other channel, Arnold Drinks, you know I love my whiskey. Whiskey is keto, so let's do this. This is a particular bottle that I have done a segment on that channel, but I just thought I would share it with you guys. This is a Stranahan's store pick that is cask strength. For those of you guys that don't know, Stranahan's is a distillery out of Denver, Colorado that makes these awesome American single malts with like the climate and the various other processes in place with American distilling. It tends to impart some very, very, very different flavors as compared to Scotch or Irish whiskey, or for that matter, single malt from any other part of the world. So this is going to be a little bit different. It's also cask strength too. For those of you guys that watch my other channel, you know I am a fiend for cask strength and barrel proof whiskeys. I love, love, love that extra proofage because it just helps elevate the flavor notes. Let's actually check, see what flavor notes we got here. Oh man. Every single time, it's almost a surprise. I know what's in this bottle, but damn, huge, huge vanilla notes. Fried dough, little bit of baking spice and cinnamon on the back end there, but very, very fried dough and vanilla cream heavy. Let's go in. I swear, it's like if you took some of the best scotches out there, put them at barrel proof, but removed all the earthiness. This is kind of what you would be left with. It's a desserty treat, like some sort of vanilla cream confection. God damn, that's tasty. Seriously, if you ever find a bottle of Stranahan's that is cast strength, pick it up because I can only imagine that they're all roughly in the same ballpark as this. And this is one of my favorite bottles that I own for a reason. God damn, so good. Cheers. So thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel. There's tons more metal and guitar oriented content to come. And as always, remember, take what you do seriously, but do not take yourselves too seriously.